They no longer want to have their own identity for Toyota. They want to just kind of compete with people. They want to match people. And obviously, guys, I'm poking at Toyota because I truly care for Toyota. I want them to make some positive adjustments. And they're not going to make positive adjustments if they have people like me hyping up their brand on YouTube. We have plenty of people doing that already. We need to be critical of this. And this right here, it's not a gem. It's not that great of a truck, and we expected more, and we should expect more from Toyota. A 2.4 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder as the only option in our Toyota Tacomas now. Over $50,000 across the board, $65,000 for the new Tacoma TRD Pro. It's no longer a working man's truck, right? All right, we got a new Tundra and a new Tacoma here. Buggy, hey, which one do you prefer between these two trucks? Daddy's truck? Good pick. Hey YouTube, Untamed here. So just over a year ago, Toyota saw a change of leadership, a new CEO. We no longer have Akio Toyoda. Now we have Koji Sato at the helm of Toyota. And Koji has a very different approach to leading Toyota into the future. Yeah, I'm not saying it's terrible, but when you look at what Toyota people really appreciate Toyotas for, it is contrary to what we have grown to love with the brand. So in today's video, I'm going to highlight a lot of those changes that Toyota is going to be making moving forward and why they're not in alignment with what we actually want as enthusiasts. So here we have the new 4-banger Toyota Tacoma, the 2024 Tacoma. We have a dozen plus here on the side. I think I last counted 20 or 19 when I was here last. They're everywhere. Over on the side, a couple out back, a few out back really, and a few out front that direction. So they're not selling whatsoever, and for good reason if we're being honest with each other. But this Tacoma here is a prime example of Toyota losing their way a bit, right? They're maximizing the price tag, making it extremely high, stuffing only a 4-cylinder option for us to actually buy, and nobody really wants that. Nobody's loving it, and well, people are voting with their pocketbook, as we've talked about before. They're just sitting collecting dust. Don't get me started on this guy over here. This guy over here, the twin turbo V6, we got rid of the naturally aspirated V8 over there that people loved, and well, obviously I have a little bit of a bias, but those would easily go 300, 400,000 miles with minimal maintenance. We're not going to see that out of this, and we're already seeing huge issues. But I think, you know, a lot of like the Toyota fanboys on YouTube, they're going to be too afraid to talk about it. But so many people are having engine issues with their new Tundra here. I'll throw up maybe a couple examples here on the screen. People are on their second, third motors with these new Tundras. They're a flop. I'll give you a quick idea of the sea of brand new Tacomas we got here. We got one there, a couple here, a couple right here, a whole line up here of just unsold, brand new 2024 Toyota Tacomas. We got the TRD Off-Road, TRD Sport, SR, SR5s. We got a couple down out front, a few in the far corner. They're just sitting here collecting dust. So behind me I have a brand new 2024 Tacoma TRD Off-Road in that bronze oxide metallic. I'm actually a fan of this color. Let me know what you guys think. Yeah, this is pretty sleek. I'm a fan. I'm also a fan of Underground over there. Which one do you prefer? Underground TRD Off-Road or that oxide bronze here? Both look pretty sleek. But what is not sleek is right here. $50,000. This is not the iForce Max. This isn't the hybridized version of it. Not the best option that's going to be available for the engine, but instead just that turbocharged 2.4 tiny little 4-cylinder engine. No thanks. For 50 grand? You know, I wouldn't give Toyota so much crap if they actually gave us the savings, right? So they charge over $50,000 for many of these TRD Off-Roads and TRD Sports here, sporting the standard iForce 2.4 liter 4-cylinder there. They charge that much money, but they're saving so much money in labor costs. We know that they moved production entirely over to Mexico, but to be fair, you know, the Tacoma has always kind of been split between Texas and Mexico, to be fair. But now it is entirely built out of there, where they pay pennies on the dollar for that labor compared to what they're paying American workers. They pay on average $2.70 per hour to a Mexican employee down in Mexico, compared to $15.22 here in Texas, here in America. So I wouldn't feel that bad if Toyota actually dropped the price and gave us some of the savings that they're seeing. But instead, they did the opposite. They hiked it up another 20-25%, which is absurd. You know, it would have been nice if Toyota at least offered a V6, a naturally aspirated V6 option in the Tacoma here. At least kind of carried it on, rather than just going cold turkey, tiny 2.4 liter 4-cylinder turbocharged platform, right? This does not scream longevity. I know turbocharged 4-cylinders are nothing new for Toyota, and they have developed a pretty good reputation with them over the years, to be fair. But this right here, when you're making an engine work so hard to generate that type of power, that type of horsepower and torque, it isn't going to last as long as a naturally aspirated counterpart. I mean, ask any mechanic that. Don't take it from me, do some homework on it. A naturally aspirated platform will run longer because it's less complex. These are pretty complex, and not to mention when we get the iForce Max with the hybridization to it, that's gonna make it even worse. So as of April 1st of 2023, we saw a new CEO take the helm of Toyota. Previously, we had Akio Toyoda, Mr. Toyoda, who was the grandson of the founder of Toyota, for those of you who don't know that. So he always kind of stayed true to his grandfather's philosophy, the core values of Toyota, of just making small continuous improvement over the years, right? Kaizen, that leadership, or excuse me, that Toyota business philosophy, that they're just constantly improving, working toward perfection. And that's always worked very well for Toyota. Whereas, you know, when we look at the States, we look at GM, other domestic vehicles, what do? They make full new redesigns every 2 or 3 years. They're constantly doing huge changes that don't really work toward perfection. They never really perfect a single platform, whereas Toyota has historically done that. This 5th generation Toyota 4Runner here really is the last legacy of Akio Toyoda, right? So this was long in the tooth. It is long in the tooth at this point. It's been out for the last 14, 15 years where they've continuously made those small improvements, that Kaizen, that business philosophy of just constantly working toward perfection, small improvements, continuous improvements. This is it. This exemplifies it, ladies and gentlemen, whereas we're not going to see that with the new platforms. I guarantee it. This here is really the last of Akio's legacy, in my personal opinion. So if you're able to get one of these, you know, you have that tried and true tested 4-liter V6 naturally aspirated platform here that will run easily, 300, 400,000 miles with minimal issue and minimal headache, as long as you treat it nicely, a little bit of maintenance, right? So this truly is the best example of Akio's legacy, in my opinion. Your last opportunity to get it. Koji Sato is the new CEO of Toyota. He took over April 1st, April Fool's Day of last year. So by him doing that, he came on stage, he's already gone on the record saying, hey, I want to lean forward with EVs. I want to sell millions of EVs within the next few years. That's already contradicting Akio tremendously. So that change of guard, that new shift from the top, has really changed the culture for Toyota. And for enthusiasts like myself and like many of you, that's not a good thing. Not to mention, this is likely your last opportunity to ever buy a 4Runner TRD off-road for under $50,000. You can easily get these for a couple $1,000s below MSRP right now, for the record. But this is your last chance, guys. When that 2025 Toyota 4Runner comes out, that TRD off-road, man, we're going to be looking at $55,000, $57,000 easily on that one. And well, right here, this is probably among the last times that we actually get to see something quite like this. We have the old school Toyota core values right here. Naturally aspirated platform, bulletproof, extremely reliable, maybe not the greatest gas mileage, but honestly, this is barely better when it comes to fuel economy. But still, they overcomplicated this new platform, and for a lot of people, this is too much. We're over $53,000 for this TRD Sport here. That is wild for a mid-size pickup truck. Remember when that used to be full-size pickup truck money? And obviously, guys, I'm poking at Toyota because I truly care for Toyota. I want them to make some positive adjustments. And they're not going to make positive adjustments if they have people like me hyping up their brand on YouTube. We have plenty of people doing that already. We need to be critical of this. And this right here, it's not a gem. It's not that great of a truck. And we expected more, and we should expect more from Toyota. A 2.4-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder as the only option in our Toyota Tacomas now. Over $50,000 across the board, $65,000 for the new Tacoma TRD Pro. It's no longer a working man's truck, right? If you're a middle-class working man, you're not going to comfortably go out and buy a $53,000 TRD Sport like the one behind me here. They've gotten out of hand, and they really have priced out the middleman of their market. I'm actually blown away that we are seeing so many of these Tacomas just sitting on lots right now. I really am. I thought just because they're brand new and they're the new cheese, like history has shown, these tend to fly off the shelves for the first year and a half, sometimes 2 years of them actually being available to the public whenever they make a full new redesign like this. But man, we're only a few months in and we're already seeing what you see behind me here. A number of them just collecting dust on lots all throughout the US. People do not want this new Tacoma. And guys, I would even argue that the Toyota Tundra here is an even bigger flop than that Toyota Tacoma over there. Let me paint a picture for you. We have seen such a huge backlog of these build up on lots. We're talking 80 to 100 plus just sitting on so many dealership lots of various trims, kind of like what you're seeing behind me here. They're wildly overpriced, many of them teetering over $80,000 on the MSRP. Because we have seen such a huge backlog and people just not having any interest in buying the Tundra here, they have seen record sales the last few months. that huge backlog, they had to force sales by issuing $8,000 to $10,000 discounts and giving 1.9% interest rates in order to actually move the things. They don't talk about that part. All they talk about is the number of sales that they had the last few months. They're not that great of a truck, guys. I owned a 2023 Tundra Tier D Pro. A lot of you guys are like, well, what do you mean? You owned the Tundra, the 21 over there. You haven't even owned this. Yes, I have. I know a lot of you maybe haven't frequented my channel. I've owned this and it was a pile of dog. I can tell you that. It wasn't impressive. Terrible turn radius, a sea of plastic on the inside, which wouldn't be so bad if the price tag was good, but mine was $72,000 or $74,000 between there. It was a TRD Pro. Wildly overpriced for what you're getting. Buggy likes the color of this one. Let's check it out. So we have a Tundra Limited here with the MSRP of $66,500. You know, as a psychology-based PhD, I love watching, you know, the range of emotions and range of responses from people who actually end up buying this. You get people who buy this, and it's human nature, guys, so I'm not beating you up, but you get people who buy it and then they defend it until they're blue in the face. It's human nature. If we put all of our hard-earned money towards something, we're going to defend the crap out of it, right? It makes sense for us to do that. But it's funny watching the sequence that they go through. I've seen it so many times, guys, where people will buy this, they'll love it, and they'll preach it to the choir, talking about how amazing it is, and then, well, you maybe start bumping into a couple of issues, and, well, no, I don't love that turn radius. They start kind of disliking a few things, and then they end up selling it. They end up selling them pretty quick. Check how many used 2022 and 23 examples are out there right now. Just check, nationwide search. They're everywhere. People quickly realize they go from loving it and defending the crap out of it to, man, well, maybe it's not that great, and then they sell it pretty quick. So I love watching that sequence there, but you know, people really struggle with this Tundra here, and we want to like it, and they're like me. I wanted to like it, I really did, but it's not that great of a truck, guys. I hate to tell you. Do you think Toyota has lost their way when it comes to their new pickup trucks and SUVs? I'd argue yes. You know, there's some changes that need to be made. Less focus on EVs. I get it, they want to look to the future, but look at sales of EVs. People in America don't want that. They want very affordable vehicles. They want affordable vehicles that are reliable and simplistic nowadays, right? We're not looking to spend 80 grand on a Tundra. We're not looking to go get a brand new EV. Koji from Toyota, the CEO, has also gone on the record that he wants to be a main competitor for Tesla moving forward. And that's a part of the problem. That's a part of the issue. Koji, the new CEO, they no longer want to have their own identity for Toyota. They want to just kind of compete with people. They want to match people. And we see it with him. He's mentioned Tesla quite a bit already. And that's a problem. For him to want to try to just be neck and neck with Tesla, we're losing out on ingenuity. We're losing out on that innovativeness that Toyota has always had, but while keeping that reliability, simplicity, and affordability in mind. We're getting rid of that. So honestly, guys, let me know what you think. Do you think I'm being too harsh? Honestly, I think there's value in being critical of the brands that we love. I love Toyota, obviously. I got one right here, and I may or may not have another one on order right now. Talk more about that later. I love Toyota, okay? But I don't like seeing them stray so far away from their original core values. And if we're gonna see some positive changes that we actually want as enthusiasts, you need to voice them. You need to be critical of it. And I think that's okay to do. So many people are afraid to be critical of Toyota. We have so many Toyota fanboys out there that are just yes men, hyping up the brand for no reason, right? Because, well, many of them, they get invites to their Toyota events and they get a lot of free handouts. So it's easy for them to do it. They don't want to bite the hand that feeds them. I digress on that. But be critical of it. Voice up if you honestly don't like what they're doing. That's the only way positive change is going to be made. So if you guys appreciated this video, if you appreciate this kind of candid feedback to Toyota, you know, please let me know in the comments, and please consider liking and subscribing. Your support means a lot, and it definitely doesn't go unnoticed. Till next time.